Welcome back to Monday. Good evening, KU. My name is LaDeja.
And I'm Nancy, and this is actually our last Monday Good Evening KU show.
Yes. How are you feeling about that, Nancy?
I am feeling a bit bittersweet because, like all of us, we went in here without knowing what we were getting ourselves into, but then slowly we learned all the positions on and off the camera, and I think it's been very beneficial to all of us.
Yeah, for sure. What has your favorite position been?
Oddly enough, I think I liked audio the most because I like to figure out like the levels of everything and then just to make sure the mics are muted when they should be and then on when they're on. But what about you?
I think my favorite position was maybe the teleprompter. It was very interesting to pace myself with the speakers, but I really enjoyed that, I think. So apart from this, are you doing any other productions?
I am. Yesterday I was on a shoot in KC. It was for a film called Vi, and I was the script supervisor, which just means I just read the script while the actors are doing their thing, and then I make sure of continuity. But yeah, it's been a fun shoot.
Yeah, so how do you go about getting something like that?
I find that all of it through Facebook. There's a bunch of Facebook groups for like actors and filmmakers, so I would recommend doing that for everyone who wants to get some insight outside of school. But yeah, what about you?
So I'm not doing anything outside of the University of Kansas. I've been working on a few productions for like my journalism classes. I thought it would be interesting to interview a couple of campus drivers, and then I also wanted to interview the transit analyst. And then during that process, I found out that you are not actually supposed to interview the campus drivers. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes, you learn something new every day. But I definitely will take into account the Facebook thing. I might do that this summer.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of summer, the classes are starting to wind down. Finals are next week. How are you feeling?
Whew, this has been a stressful semester for me. Last semester wasn't that bad, maybe because we got out so early, everything was at home. But this semester, I've really been struggling a little bit. I miss the times where finals were just like multiple choice questions, and now all of my finals are like 10-page papers, and it's just a lot. But how are you doing?
This semester, our finals week, I think will be not as hectic for me because everything is due this week for me, so it's a bit much this week. But next week, I just kind of have to sit around and wait to see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So after the break, we're going to come back to a special guest.
Why doesn't my skin look like theirs? Why is my nose so big? I'm never gonna look like those girls.
Hi, welcome back. My name is Julia, and I'd like to welcome to the show Maya Peterson. She is from another student production here on campus called Playmakers. Maya, do you want to talk about that to us?
Yes, first, thank you for having me on here. So like you said, I am a part of Playmakers. I'm the producer of Playmakers, which we cover all KU sports, and in addition to that, we cover professional sports such as the NBA, the NFL, and the WNBA. So we encompass all of that. And of course, we have to get the inside look into athletes with interviews as well.
Wow, that's really cool. What do you do specifically on that show?
So as producer, I'm kind of like everywhere all at the same time. I have a pretty busy schedule. On Mondays, we're doing pitch meetings with our crew. On Wednesdays, I'm checking over scripts and drafts, and Thursdays, putting those little final touches. And then Friday morning, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
So I'm everywhere in the studio and behind the scenes to make sure that we have the best show that we can produce that week.
That's awesome. So I saw on social media this weekend that you and your crew were out in the field, just doing work out in the field. How was that for you guys?
So it's funny because obviously we all know that COVID has been very difficult, but specifically for sports reporters, we haven't been able to go to games, and press conferences have been strictly on Zoom. So as a freshman myself, and then having a crew that's mostly freshmen, it was kind of hard to get to know athletes and getting the whole perspective as reporters. But now, later in the semester, COVID protocols are being lifted. So we saw that it was interesting that we had a triple header on campus with baseball playing North Dakota State, a home track meet, and the spring game for football. And we were like, you know what, let's, instead of choosing one event, let's just be everywhere.
Yeah.
So we decided to go to each event, cover that on Instagram and Twitter with interviews, highlights, and just overall sports reporting.
That's really cool. So you are a freshman and you're already the producer of this show. Did you have any experience with this kind of thing before coming to KU?
So actually I did. So in high school, I was a part of an Emmy Award winning broadcast program
Wow.
at Prosper High School Eagle Nation News Network. And I had another sports show that I was a part of in high school, which I'm from Texas, so everything to us is football. So before football games on Friday night, or what we like to call Friday Night Lights, we would have a pregame show and a fully produced show, and then also Fridays in general during school time, we would do that. So, yes.
That's really cool. How is the rest of your freshman year going with everything else going on?
Wow. Okay, so now because we're in the last 2 weeks, it's been kind of hectic with finishing up Playmakers, getting ready for finals. I'm a double major, so accounting is really like either the height of my week or the low of my week.
I could never.
So everything like that is kind of hectic, but who needs sleep, you know?
I don't know. I guess not. So what are your plans as far as production-wise go for the summer or for the future?
So this summer, I'm going to have an internship with, we have like a local broadcast program in Texas called Friday Night Glory. So I'll be helping produce content for them and cover football, 7v7, summer football for us. And then in the future, I hope within these 4 years to, you know, gain all the experience behind the scenes and in front of the camera, whatever I need to be to graduate and hopefully have my own production company that focuses on teaching media skills to athletes and also producing more content, whether that be like for ESPN, of course, or a local sports network.
That's awesome. So that's about all we have. What else does the audience need to know about your show, Playmakers?
Well, this Friday we have our final show that we're calling Playmakers, the Final Play. And I feel like everyone should tune in. We're going to have a lot of highlights from the year, recapping our favorite moments. And of course, everyone loves bloopers, so we're going to include that. And lastly, you know, just follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date with everything at Playmakers KU.
Awesome. I will definitely be tuning in. Thank you so much, Maya, for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Wesley. Thanks.
Good evening. Tonight, we need to discuss the overrepresentation of Greek life in our student government. While you and I get a couple of senators to represent our school, Greek life gets 3 dedicated senators to represent Greek interests at KU. 1 for frats, 1 for sororities, and 1 for the Multicultural Greek Council. This means Greek students get double representation despite being about 1/3 of KU's student population. If a Greek student has an issue, they can go to their regular senator or their dedicated Greek senator. But if you have a problem with Greek life and your senators in Greek life, good luck with getting your case heard. Those Greek senators aren't even directly accountable to students in Greek life. Greek senators are elected by a board in the Greek orgs. For example, frat boys don't even directly elect their senator. The Interfraternity Council appoints its senator. So if they dislike their senator, they have to campaign to replace their IFC representative, then get that representative to convince the other IFC representatives to replace their senator. This is horribly inequitable. Students shouldn't have to be able to pay to belong and have more votes in our student government. With the pitiful 4% turnout and the 48% of Senate seats being left vacant in this year's election, those extra Greek senators will have more power than ever. In normal circumstances, it takes multiple students getting hurt badly to kick a frat off campus. I don't want to imagine what might happen this coming year with all the stir-crazy kids rushing back to campus. But it's not all doom and gloom. This can be addressed pretty easily. Almost half of Senate is empty. If you fill those seats and if you push for change, the next year could be ripe with reform. But that's your prerogative, and things will only change if you make them. After the break, we'll be back with Maria and Caroline in the news update.
There's a parenting alert this morning about the danger of teens vaping.
A huge surge of high schoolers using e-cigarettes or vaping.
The FDA warning about liquid nicotine used in e-cigarettes.
Vaping is a highly addictive and dangerous trend that has become very popular amongst young adults. Most e-cigarettes contain nicotine, which is highly addictive and can harm adolescent brain development, which continues into the early to mid-20s. This bad habit must be broken now, before it is too late.
Welcome back. I'm Maria.
And I'm Caroline. This is your Monday Good Evening KU News Update. The funeral for Andrew Brown Jr., a black man fatally shot by deputy sheriffs, is now underway. Members of Brown's family and an attorney will speak with a civil rights leader delivering the eulogy.
A tornado touched down in the Atlanta area this morning, threatening about 450,000 people in its potential path. The storm has weakened, but a watch is still in effect, as additional thunderstorms could still produce tornadoes.
To help with the second wave of COVID-19, the Indian Navy has deployed its medical personnel to hospitals across the country. The Navy is also assisting in the transport of oxygen containers and other supplies.
4 families who were separated under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy will be reunited this week. The families will be allowed to remain in the U.S. for a limited amount of time.
Billie Eilish is featured on the cover of British Vogue sporting a new wardrobe. Eilish said she wanted to explore the beauty of corsets, which is a big change for her, who has said that her body is her deepest insecurity.
Kansas State Rep. Mark Samsel was arrested for the alleged battery of a high school student while substitute teaching. He says that the encounter was not an altercation.
And that will wrap up today's news update. Now we'll toss it to Brooke for sports.
Thanks, Caroline. In sports, the baseball team lost 2 out of 3 against North Dakota State this weekend at Hoagland Ballpark. KU is 24-21 this season and 4-11 in the Big 12 Conference. They host Missouri State on Wednesday night and then welcome the Oklahoma State Cowboys to Lawrence with games over the weekend. The softball team lost all 3 games at Baylor this weekend to extend their losing streak to 6 in a row. The Jayhawks are 22-23 overall, but just 2-13 in the Big 12. They'll close the regular season with 3 games at home next weekend against Iowa State. The rowing team beat K-State in the Sunflower Classic on Saturday at Wyandotte County Lake. The Jayhawks won both the varsity 8 races to secure the victory. And Alexandra Milyanov was the star of this weekend's Rock Chalk Classic. The junior won both the discus and placed 3rd in the shot put, setting school records in both events. She threw 197 feet and 8 inches in the discus and 55 feet and 4 1/4 inches in the shot. Emelianov is currently ranked 2nd in the country in discus and number 21 in shot put. Former Jayhawk Bryce Hoppel and Mason Finley each set Rock Chalk Park facility records as they tune up for next month's Olympic trials. Hoppel won the 800 meter in 1 minute 45.43 seconds, while Finley threw the discus 217 feet 10 inches. Both athletes have already achieved the Olympic A standard and expect to be in Tokyo this summer. And that's it for sports. After the break, Anna will be here with a long-range weather forecast for the summer. Diversity. What is diversity? It can be an umbrella term for a variety of things, ranging from diversity among different people, places, cultures, and ideas, to the way people express themselves and the way they interact with the world. In today's world, people interact with one another and share their thoughts through social media. Let's take Twitter, for example. How are people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and sexual orientations with different political beliefs, interests, and job titles using this platform differently? Currently, celebrities are interacting with their fans on Twitter by speaking their minds, sharing their beliefs, and supporting social issues. Professional sports figures and organizations in the United States are using Twitter to support social causes and bring attention to current social matters, such as encouraging their fans to vote. Users are voicing their opinions about current issues surrounding racial inequalities, social injustice, and police brutality in the United States. There's diversity in the way people are discussing the upcoming presidential election, especially regarding their opinions of each candidate.
Different news outlets are not only highlighting stories in the US, but are talking about important stories from around the world. But many Twitter users don't post about controversial matters or social issues at all. Rather, they use their platform to create memes and post funny content for entertainment. While many topics going around this app involve social issues and political opinions, Twitter creates a space where people can pull together collections of diverse thoughts, comments, opinions, goals, and even a little humor too. So how can we use this platform to express our differences? More importantly, how can we use it to learn from each other's differences today?
Hey everyone, and welcome back for this week's weather update and this semester's final weather update. I hope you guys were able to get out this past weekend and enjoy the beautiful weather we had with some great sunshine. And I myself got a little bit too burnt, but if you take a look outside right now, we're seeing temperatures at about 66 degrees and the clouds hitting the winds about 17 miles an hour. And when we head into this evening, we're expected to see a couple of spotty showers throughout the area, nothing too severe at all. We're expected to see about 60% of showers within the area before those clear out tomorrow morning, and we will hit a high of 64, plenty of sunshine after the morning showers. Tomorrow night, though, we're going to get a low of about 38 degrees, which is a lot chillier than what we're used to seeing in the month of May. Now, if you're wondering why we're seeing so many cooler temperatures right now, if you take a look at this map, this is the pattern change for early May, so you can see the lower temperatures that we're going to be seeing in the Midwest right here and into the southern states, a lot cooler than what we're expecting. You will see those temperatures here in the later week and into next week. And for the weather outlook, the temperature outlook for the month of May, we're going to see some way warmer temperatures than normal in the state of Kansas and especially in the Midwest. And when you look into the eastern states of the U.S., we're going to see exceptional temperatures, way warmer in the summer in what we're expecting. Now this week we are going to see some cooler temperatures at the beginning, lots of great sunshine before we get into much of a precipitation-filled weekend with warm temperatures throughout Saturday and Sunday. Expected to be a couple severe ones, but I will keep you updated on Twitter with those storms. But that's all I have for this week's weather update and the last weather update of the semester. So thank you so much on the behalf of Good Evening KU for joining in with us. And you can stay tuned tomorrow for KU's Take a Side at 9 a.m.